Hey guys, so today we have some good and bad news regarding the upcoming BT6 update. Now, normally I reserve videos like these over on the second channel where I go over the patch notes, but again, since there's some pretty big news here, I figured I'd let you guys know on the main channel first. So, as you can see, NinjaQ just posted the full patch notes coming out for version 34.0, and I'm happy to let you know that it's coming this week. However, there's a pretty big caveat, and you can see right here, while we normally do preview notes, you want to skip straight to releasing the full update notes for the update itself. And let the community know that we have made the difficult decision to delay the Beast Handler. So yes, that teaser image that us YouTubers shared to you guys, unfortunately, there's going to be a bit of a letdown there because it's not coming this update. And there's more info that I'm going to scroll to right down below right now. So if you scroll all the way down here to the Beast Handler section, you can see their long reasoning for what happened. This isn't reading class, so I won't read you everything here, but I'll go over the main points. Basically, well, as we know, a new tower is a huge undertaking, especially one that is unique to the Bloons universe. Like before, when they implemented Dartling Gun and Mortar, those are already existing towers, which I guess in a way makes things easier in terms of coming up with how that tower works. But yeah, with this Beast Handler, well, it's looking pretty complex. And it looked like things were going pretty well up until last week, where they thought they were making progress, but the last playtest didn't turn out very well, probably because there was just simply too much confusion about how the tower worked. So that's why it's coming out next year, I guess. And not just next year, as in, okay, we'll wait till next update, but no, they say it'll take at least 2 updates in order to refine it. So that's pretty crazy how they can go from, oh, we're definitely planning to push this out for next week, and confident enough that, you know, we were able to release teasers beforehand. But I guess the problems they found out were really bigger than they expected, so it's completely understandable. They don't want to release a new tower only for people to be disappointed that either doesn't work properly or people have no idea, like, how it's supposed to work. Just an unfortunate situation all around, really. But hopefully this just means that in the end, when Beast Handler does eventually come out, that it'll be better than anyone could have expected. Because of that, this will be a bit of a smaller update. However, it's still, I would say, a pretty mid-sized update, even without that giant new tower, and which I will go over right now. Just in case you guys want to know what exactly is an update, and also the balance changes, of which there are a lot of. And usually I don't go over balance changes in videos, at least for BT6. But I figured if you want to know what's being changed and my thoughts on them, then, well, stick around and stay tuned. Because there's a lot of things. First off, the new boss Dreadbloon's coming out. You guys already know this. This was, I put it in the teaser, and they've teased it already on Twitter. It was already mentioned months ago that Dreadbloon would have immunity to completely, like, full tower categories. Primary, military, magic, and support, and including Paragons. So that should make for some pretty interesting gameplay, and as if it's not enough, Dreadbloon also spawns resilient rock balloons each time a skull's reached. So that's a new thing, and until its stone armor is destroyed. So I think that's the same as in Bloons Monkey City. It's just that while that stone armor is active, yeah, I'll kind of spawn blimps like balloon areas, but also a unique type of balloon. So that's gonna be interesting. Like, how much HP does a rock balloon have? How fast does it move? Sounds like it'd be pretty slow, but also, on top of that, any monkey set to strong charming will be taunted to attack the rock balloon, so looks like that takes priority over Dread Balloon. Wonder how much it leaks. Will it be like Lich, where you basically insta-lose if you leak it? I would assume so. Beyond top of that, there is a new map, but it's not just that. It's a beginner map called 1-2 Tree, but it looks like it has a completely new mechanic, and I can't wait to check that out when the update drops. Basically, at certain rounds, trees are taken away to decorate the monkey homes, leaving more space and defense. And it's kind of like an automated cornfield, but they also offer special properties to monkeys placed there, which is a new thing that previous maps don't offer. Kind of curious what buffs and to which towers it will give, because it looks like it says pay attention to colors and shapes, so it doesn't sound like it's as simple as just like, oh, these towers get a buff, as in like magic monkeys or a set of primer monkeys. I don't know, I guess we'll, again, see for ourselves once it's actually out. Anyways, new hero skin, Slay Churchill. Cool. And now to the section where they talked about the Beast Handler extensively. However, there are a couple points that I skipped over that I will quickly go over. Basically, just NK let us know that 2022 was a big year for the BT6 team. And, you know, with COVID and all that, getting out of lockdowns, different environment and trying to get used to the new norm. And because of that, it looks like a lot of staff were hit with colds and flus. So, which meant they couldn't make as much progress as they could have, unfortunately. Anyways, over to the next point, Dark Dungeon Expert Map. So, it looks like they were working on maybe one of the new hardest maps in the game. And I think this one actually is a community-inspired expert map. So, if I just load up or search Dark Dungeons, this is what we get. So, if I open up and read, balloons travel up from each of the 3 tracks every round, okay? Mobs instead use the mob entrance, so that's just the top side of there. And I think the gimmick, or the difficulty of this map is that, well, there's darkness between each of the dungeons, so, you know, any tower you place cannot target any more than one dungeon, unless maybe there's a flying tower, but, yeah. We'll figure out how... Oh, wait. Looks like on the right side, it does show how big the towers are, so you can't place, looks like, a heli at all, or a farm. God, this map looks absolutely brutal, and, well... Can't wait to play it. Fortunately, again, it's not out this update, but it's looking like they're going to push it to next update, update 35 instead. Now, moving on to other changes. Advanced challenges and time attack styles in CT will no longer gain XP. This is a sad day in history. Remember that XP farm video I made about this territory? How racing time attack tiles were so much better than anything else? Well, they gotta put the end to the fun and everything. But I get it. It was very strong. Maybe a little too strong. A lot of little bug fixes that I won't go over right now because balance changes I feel like are more important. So, starting off with the Dart Monkey. Making changes to the Juggernaut and Ultra Juggernaut, giving it more damage. Specifically fortified damage, so this makes it a little bit better for the late game. Because before, without that extra fortified damage, Ultra Juggernaut just kind of falls off a cliff with the large Pierce, but not enough to use the Pierce on, if you know what I mean. So Ultra Juggernaut might be, like, real meta on maps like Hedge and Cornfield and Moon Landing. Moving on, they've made buffs to the Top Path Boomerang and the Boomer Paragon. Simply, Boomer Paragon got a huge price reduction. Now it's the cheapest Paragon, which I guess is fair. And honestly, this change alone might make it better than the Dart Paragon to get. Because Dart Paragon already kind of stinks if you don't get it to bounce off properly. Maybe Boomer Paragon might be a good choice for, like, makeshift tier 3 Paragons now. Anyways, with the Glaive Lord changes, hopefully it's more useful now. The previous Glaive Lord Pierce used to be 1,000, so down to 80 is quite substantial, but again, it was never really using all 1,000 Pierce, so they are taking power of that to give it to extra SRAM damage, which I'm totally okay with. Not sure it's going to make too much of a difference, though, but we shall see. As for Bomb Shooter, just a tiny change. Cluster Bombs got nerfed a little bit. Really big bombs got buffed. Personally, I don't think it's just Cluster Bomb that's the main issue. It's really the Recursive Cluster. Although, maybe this change is just because it was from Battles 2, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's why it was changed like that. Anyways, Ice Monkey. For the low-tier Ice Monkeys, they are just shifting the power between all the upgrades. The one I really want to shift focus on, though, is Ice Shards. Base damage increase from 1 to 2. Man, if this was in Battles 2, everyone would hate it. But because it's not, and there's a different meta of BT6, this is fine, I guess. On top of that, Ice Skulls can now target monsters on slow. So, what, does that mean each shot can do 2 damage on them now? Because, I mean, I feel like on paper, I mean, maybe I'm misreading this, but it doesn't sound like it's gonna do very much. Because the Ice Skulls can hit mobs already. It's just the main attack cannot. And that only does 2 damage. Anyways, so the Glue Gun, they're reducing the base cost because I guess the 000 glue is pretty worthless, and that I would agree with. As for the Glue Hose and Glue Strike, they're just shifting the cost around, so now Glue Hose is a little bit cheaper. Cool. And more buffs to the Top Path Glue because still nobody really uses it. I personally probably still won't use it after these buffs, but I don't know. If I do use it, I guess I'll have a better time. Very minor Stubborn Monkey buffs, not really worth mentioning, just shifting prices around. Monkey Buccaneer. Power Lord, of course, needed a nerf. And I guess I'm glad they didn't nerf the power, rather just change the price to reflect how strong it is. Probably still a little bit underpriced, but I'll take that. So it looks like they're adding a little new homing effect to the flagship, so there's just a free buff with no downsides. Surprisingly, another nerf to Trade Empire, man. That's pretty crazy, because again, before I used to give 20, now that's... The fact that bonus is halved, I mean, even without crunching the numbers, that seems like a pretty rough nerf. Would certainly be curious, though, after these changes, how it stacks up. Anything to make bosses harder in preparation for a Dread Balloon, am I right? As for Monkey Ace changes, these ones are pretty minor. The Spectre has a new homing style similar to the flagship, I would believe, and Doomship got a bit more pierce than the Carpet Bomb, because 50 pierce for a Paragon is, well, pretty low to start off with. Top of that, a little Sky Shredder nerf. Nothing really to write home about. Nothing really to write home about for these mortar changes also. They just increase the bad cross paths for those towers. Again, Ninja Key, we're reducing the amount of bad cross paths in the game. Good thing I got that cross path video out not too long ago. 502 biggest one was already pretty solid though, so it should be interesting to see just how much better this makes it. Because definitely don't underestimate this change. Now going on to Dartling Gunner. Laser Cannon got a buff, but I think it needs more than just price decreases, especially only $500. As for the bottom path, apparently Bads was OP. I'm not too aware of it because I don't use it much in BT6, but it looks like they shift the price from, yeah, the 4K from Bads over to Beds. Anyways, it's about time the Archmage got a buff. This one's really just to cross paths, mainly the middle one, because usually the best cross path is 501 so that, you know, your main bolt has more pierce. But now there's some contention because you can go for a way stronger wall fire, way stronger fireball, way stronger Key Breath. This actually might be the better cross path now, I'm not gonna lie. Also shift the price around from Phoenix and Wizard Phoenix. On paper, these Super Monkey changes look very insignificant. Only 100 more damage on Tech Terror, 200 on Anti-Bloon. What's a 4% damage increase gonna do? Well, apparently quite a lot, because they did testing and, yeah, it ran into problems for around 100, I guess, with fully one-shotting things, so this helps out a little bit. And also, whoa, they added crits to the Tech Terror? I would assume this also translates to the Anti-Bloon ability. That's pretty sick. / interesting. Pretty small druid change here. Simply the Pierce got reduced on tier 3 Druid of the Jungle and increased from tier 4. Trust me though, X3X is still going to be very strong, especially outside of races. Banana Farm. I guess Monkey Bank was strong, so they nerfed it. Next. This engineer change is just a nerf to people who were really min-maxing and like using the trick where you can overclock a 0/0/0 farm, then sell the overclock to get like a tier 4, so you get insane uptime on that overclock ability. Now it's simply, you know, a flat 1, same as a tier 4. So no longer does that change really matter unless you're doing a tier 4 to a tier 5. That makes sense. Lots of mini hero changes here, so we're gonna rapid fire through all of them. Quincy gains more projectiles. 2 to 3 is actually, well, a 50% damage buff, so that's nothing to, you know, scoff at. But is that still going to be enough to make Quincy a great hero? Well, we'll see what these other changes have to offer. Oben's Wall Trees increased from 5,000 to 9,001. I guess they did 9,001 for the meme factor, so they can finally say Pierce over 9,000. But yeah, Benjamin, tiny nerf, Bloon Jojo can no longer see through walls, okay? Durallo also got nerfed in price, so this stinks because, well, you can't start with Durallo in Chimps mode anymore. Granted, you couldn't start with him on most maps, but you know, on the easy maps you could. Fortunately, no longer the case. Also, they reduced the Sharpening Stone duration, because I guess it was still too strong. Kinda liked it at 15 rounds, not gonna lie. But overall, Geraldo will remain strong, considering every other thing in the shop got untouched. And here's some changes that most people won't care about, because it's contested territory. But, you know, I care a little bit. Bolt Flash got nerfed a little bit. Understandable, because it was probably the best relic in the game. Pretty much, yeah, I agree with most of these changes here. Simply nerfing the strong relics and buffing the weak relic, which is Heartless. And the final change is a big one, Sauda. So saving this for last, this is the biggest rework. So basically, to summarize, I think Sauda was just too straightforward. They drop the tower and let her go to work. But now it looks like she's getting her base power reduced even more so than it was on release. And it looks like because of that, they're going to increase the overall power of her abilities. So now it looks like her level 711. It's going to be really important to try to synergize Sauda with. Like, just scroll down here. It's really with the ability, though. So yeah, a lot of number changes here, which I'll let you go over and take a look at. But yeah, stay tuned, I guess, so I can use my queen again. And finally, the last part of this patch notes, which is basically looking forward to next year. So first off, looking at the console changes, they're basically making good progress on them. Nice. Keep up the good work. And the reason why Beast Hammer will be coming for 35 is also because, well, it's going to be a smaller update, as usually is the case after, you know, the end of the year. But yeah, update 36 is not quite guaranteed for Beast Handler. Hopefully it is ready by then, but if not, let's see what else there could be. Well, Paragon or Boss. That Paragon is probably going to be Wizard Paragon, which they said would be the next one. As for the boss, got no clue. And after the key goal section, which is basically brainstorms and ideas. I think what really caught my eye here is the map editor and player creators. So that's crazy, because not a lot of people, well, want to go through the effort of installing mods to be able to, well, make a map. In fact, that's, you know, even harder than just playing mods in and of itself. So looking forward to that one. Also, creators, hey, that's me. Improve coordination around releases, create events, and expanding the Creator Code program. Yeah, in case you guys don't know, there was a Creator Code program that was out like half a year ago. Nudge, nudge, code ISAB in the shop. Anyways, last part. This part is not guaranteed to be next year, but mod support. So again, I think this is where the future lies in terms of expanding the game to an even wider audience, making it more accessible, or rather just having more things to do in the game. Because the more things there are to do, the more content, interesting content we can make about it. So if Ninja Kiwi makes it easier for us in the form of this, then yeah, I'm all for it. Same with the Tower and Bloon editor. This is going to be an interesting thing once that maybe eventually comes out. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the line and where we stand for the last update of this year. So I guess let me know your thoughts on everything in this update below. I know, again, a bit disappointing not having Beast Hunter, but this is a huge patch nonetheless. So excited to check it out. And again, it's coming out very, very soon. So subscribe and you'll see when that update comes out. There'll be a video for ya. That's all. See you guys.